I have no wish to be bold, I have no wish to be brave. I have no wish to be belligerent or boring. I have none of these ambitions. Soldiers have the ambition to kill. You see, soldiers have the ambition to kill. It is either bred into them or instructed into them. And when they get out of the military, how do they feel? How do they contain this training? I'd like to know. Some of them don't, as we are beginning to see. I'm a pacifist. I've been one since I was 18 officially. On my selective service record. You can check it. I don't lie too often. I certainly don't lie about important matters. That is just stupid. Because no matter what you say, if it is not the truth, it's going to be discovered eventually that you were trying to be deceptive, and people don't appreciate that. At least I wouldn't. If somebody tried to deceive me, I'd get goddamn angry mighty quick. I wouldn't put up with it. Well, except for my wife. I swear to God, she's the most deceptive woman I've ever met. And she's so fucking deceptive, I didn't even know she was deceptive until about 5 years into my married life with her. I mean, it took me 5 years to discover that she was deceptive. So, in some ways, I'm pretty goddamn stupid. But, I don't know. I've got a happy marriage anyway. And she's quite pretty. So, what draws me away is just sheer lust, and I take care of that with pornography. But I don't know what the hell I'd do if I came upon some woman that stirred my interest, you might say. Oh, fuck, men are dogs. Men are sheer dogs. Gorillas. Maniacs. All of them incapable of reflection. And that's why I differ from them. I'm capable of reflection, and I have been for decades. Decades, as Denzel Smith used to say, English professor. I admired that man. He seemed utterly dedicated to his profession, you see, of instructing the youth. I think he thought of himself as kind of a Socrates, actually, or Plato. More so Plato than Socrates. Because he had been in the Marines in World War II, as had most men at his age. When they were young, they felt obligated to, enlist. And then comes along the Vietnam War, and that was a suspect war from the outset, as Graham Greene plainly showed in his book, his work of fiction. Although there wasn't much fiction in it, since he was a member of the British Secret Service for a fairly long period of time, significant period of time, just like John Le Carre, or what the hell's his actual name? It's not Westinghouse. Oh fuck, I forgot it again. Anyway, it's kind of a common name. Sheffield or Chesterfield or some such thing. I don't know what. It hardly even matters anymore. And after all, the gentleman is dead. And people don't make such refined distinctions in most things, like fiction writers do. They're, as my mother might have put it, persnickety. She had oftentimes difficult expressions. I'd have to ask her to tell me what they meant, actually. And she would always oblige me. And then when I got to high school, I relied on her for a time, more so in junior high, I think. Freshman in high school, and then I did it myself. I relied on her to tell me how to spell a word because she was a legal secretary and she knew how to spell any fucking word you cared to name. And she was a rather demanding mother, I swear. But she gave me and my brother, you know, chores. And I don't even remember what my brothers were. I always felt, since I was older than he was by 3 years, that I got the short end of the fucking stick. I mean, fuck, I had to drag out the garbage when I was a kid. I carried it out when I was 17, but I had to drag it out as a boy. Fuck. Because that motherfucking thing was heavy. I jumped on that thing and compressed that goddamn garbage down pretty quick. And then her, well, I guess he was her boyfriend, Jim Schuyler. He was an electrician, had his own business. He's a sheet metal worker as well, and installed Lennox furnaces. And I looked on him as a dad, you know, naturally. I worked for him once when I was 16, and then he let me go, as they say. And I was mystified as to why. And it only took me about 50 years to figure out this little puzzle. But when I did, I saw the bind he was in, because well, for one thing, he didn't have any boys as children. He just had 2 girls. One of them was beautiful and one of them was retarded. She had, I don't know what, some sort of affliction, I guess. Mental affliction. And they can be the worst sort because they're the hardest to distinguish and they're the hardest to figure out, like me. As I said, it took me nearly 50 years to put it together and see the picture, the big picture. There's someone ostensibly mature, as they used to say, must, in order to be an adult. And then we have this wacko crank of a president. A wacko goddamn motherfucking crank. I despise that son of a bitch so much. Fuck, if in the old days, now I mean old prehistoric days, if I ever got a knife or a hatchet or a, I don't know what, a meat cleaver, I would cut his fucking head off. And if it was a few centuries later, I'd use the guillotine, cut his fucking head off with it. Make a big production out of it like he made himself. He made his own life a motherfucking production. Because he was a kingpin from day one, spoon-fed with silver. And he had those silver coins a-brewing down in his gut for the rest of his life. And he's a fucking idiot. He's no better than a 13-year-old. Sure, I get drunk and then I get nasty and mean. But I don't do anything. I'm a self-contained gent. Although some people might not think so. Some people might think that I'm a con artist and the worst sort. The sort who are utterly convincing. I saw this essay the other day. I didn't read it, but it was it had a curious title, and it dealt with an idea that I had dealt with a long time ago. It dealt with the notion that prolonged reflection can produce undesirable side effects, you might say. In other words, meditation is dangerous, or at least it might get you into trouble. It might get you into psychological trouble, you see. Prolonged reflection might get you into psychological trouble. That was the thrust of the fucking essay, and I had no interest in reading it. Prolonged reflection, fuck. Present day people in developed countries have no time at all to even sit and think, hardly for more than 15 motherfucking seconds. It's disgusting. It stupefies people. It turns them into fucking robots and idiots. Robots and idiots, I can't emphasize that more than enough. I've thought about this all my fucking life. I've seen it. I've seen the changes. I've seen the changes since fuck 1960. I haven't seen it all. I haven't seen squat, but I've seen plenty. I've seen more than plenty. I've seen my share. Some might even say I've seen more than my share, but I say I've seen my share. I believe in stoicism, where you belly up your pain and you contain it. And I don't like hypochondriacs either, so I never make a decent doctor, ever. And I was not suitable as a teacher either. No, of course not. Well, I vowed that I'd never be a teacher because my father was a teacher, essentially. But he's also a scientist. And a professor. A professor like, I don't know, a poor cousin senator. Or an elector. Or a lawyer. Yeah. Lives have meaning and matter, but even single words have meaning and matter. Like weight. They weigh down in the psychic realm. The mind. And they submerge themselves into dreams oftentimes. And so, on it goes. The medium never knows. But then McLuhan said the medium is the message, so the medium must know. Now, does she or he not? It's all rot. It's all rot and speculation anyway. This whole idea of surveillance, if once you get used to surveilling yourself, if you police yourself, in other words, then nothing ever matters because you commit no crimes, you do nothing to disturb anyone, you raise absolutely no fucking hell. Although I have time to. Not deliberately, well, well, that could be debated, but, you know. As the older I got, I decided I'd, well, behave more responsibly. You know, act like a gentleman instead of a sod, which I often was. Drunkard. A disdainful drunkard at that. I knew it. I had vanity coming out my ears and out my nose like snot. I hated myself for a time. I thought I was a failure. And then finally, 50 fucking years later, I realized that the notion of success and failure is born into us from the very beginning and infested in our philosophy. Drives people fucking crazy! As you can see, I'm living fucking proof of that. 100%. And that's 200 proof, by the way. I'm 200 proof derelict. Ha! Fuck off. Fuck you all. You're all miserable lying idiots. And some of you religious-minded folks sinners. Me, I'm just a fucking idiot. From the hellbound days. The imminent death days, the crazy days, and all the rest. We're all swimming in this linguistic sea, and none of us shall ever escape except upon death. A linguistic sea. We're all submerged in it. We're all deep down in it. And none of us know anything. And those who purport to know are the worst flim-flam idiots they are. One of whom I could name and shall not. Perhaps not. There's always the perhaps and the perhaps not. Anytime you talk about the future, because no one knows anything about the accuracy of their own predictions, let alone the future, which is unknowable. Yet the politicians always claim to know these things somehow. They think they're the prime predictors, isn't senators, the filibustering senators, of which Manson is one, from West Virginia. Let it be said to separate him from Virginia. Oh, and Carolina, those were proper boys in the Senate now, weren't they? They never swore. They never exaggerated themselves, they only exaggerated their ideas, which led us down the path to poverty. Standing wages not for 30, not for 40, but for 50 blind fucking years. Standing virtually forever, till something is done to prevent it. And something is being done now, you can be sure. And it's it's about time, I would say, that the rich for 50 years have had it their way. Well, time has come for others to have it theirs. It may not be the time to be old, but I have no choice in the matter. I am old. I shall be even older, better, and perhaps no wiser. I am content for most people and just about everything else in this fucking land. That makes me misanthropic by fiat, by default. I'm misanthropic by default. Or default, as the knuckleheads would say. But then again, I do not propound to know very much. I do not. The ones who do are being mimics of the past. Oh, and then some shall say, well, it's the future where it all lays. Lays like gold and bullion. Oh, I suppose so, yes. Well, we cringe at this earth that is becoming a slow cinder. By virtue of none other than slow incineration. Slow incineration. In other words, the human race is immolating itself, and could do so immediately at any time via the handy thermonuclear weapon en masse, as it stands in silos and then lays about in submarines anywhere and everywhere you care to name.